So welcome to today's presentation on OpenCLM. As I already said, we're gonna have some slides for introduction and then pretty much focus on demonstration. We have one by Anna. That's one of the use cases we currently have, more on the process side. And then I'm gonna join in with a presentation which is more, I would say, on the product side. So that's basically the idea for the afternoon. And while just some introduction on where do we come from, what are the problems we are dealing with. So it's all about mastering complexity and creating added value. And typically these days products are developed in a V model. That already is enough of complexity. And in addition to that, of course, all the things are digital these days. And the question is, how do things get together? And in addition to that, of course, we have more and more software in the product, which on one hand adds complexity as well, and then on the other hand gives you some freedom and choice of decisions, whether you do it in software or you do it in hardware, or how does it work. And in addition to that, again, there is safety and regulations obligations, which you have to fulfill. And that all together then ends up with what's the solution to that? And one of the solutions to that, of course, is traceability. And if you look at traceability along the V model, then you have two dimensions, I would say. There is one thing, there is the horizontal dimension, which is more the process, how are things developed, how do the processes look like in terms of development, how do the processes look like in terms of simulation, for example. And on the other hand, you have the vertical integration, which is more on the product side. So how do all the domains play together? How do they interact? Where do I make those decisions? And then, of course, if you look at that, if you look at it from a product side, then of course the idea behind OpenCLM and what we want to do is to create a digital thread in the product. Yeah, of course there is some development process associated to that as well, but the main focus here is the product. How do things belong together? How can I trace all the development artifacts of a product, and how do I support heterogeneous environments so that I can build this digital thread across systems? And then, of course, what we want to do is we want to drive cross-domain product decisions. That's one of the key elements in OpenCLM. That's if you look at it from a product side, and on the other hand, how do we look at it from a process side? And that's the credible that's for example the credible simulation process, where of course you look, the main driver is the process itself. You want to reach a goal with following to a specific process, and then of course you want to document the process as you move along, of course with product artifacts as well. And then one of the key things is, of course, it's traceability, so that you exactly know what you have done and how you achieve those results, and with which models did you use, and all these type of things, on what were your assumptions with respect to requirements, all these type of things. And then of course there are other things like resimulate. So you want to do probably the same 2 weeks later, or you want to do the same on a different model. You want to do the same with extended requirements, all these type of things. And that's the second piece. And basically what we want to do today is exactly show you demonstrations on those two use cases. One is product driven, the other one is more process driven. And then I think you probably all know that slide about OpenCLM, how we position it in general. It's a lean and smart solution that exactly creates its digital thread across domains. We have this forward-looking aspect, which is basically the process guidance, progress monitoring. Again, mainly driven by this process approach. And in addition to that, there is the product focus with change management, with impact analyses on the product. And that's the second piece we want to focus today. And of course, there are other use cases as well, like for example, defect management. You get some information from the field about your product and you want to find out root causes. Or like more the audit support, you want to make sure that you follow certain standards, like for example, ASPICE in the automotive industry or whatever. That would be another use case. But as I said, we want to focus today on the process and on the product. Before going into the demonstrations, just a brief overview on what we consider as the key functionalities of OpenCLM. The one thing is the main thing is actually linking and tracing product and process information across domain. So what's different in OpenCLM compared to other solutions is we don't want to copy data out of the backend systems. No, we want to link them, and we want to then reference to the original systems, backend systems, instead of doing copies and all of these type of things. We work off process templates. You will see that in Anna's demonstration, and therefore we can steer projects according to those process requirements. And on what you will see in the other demonstration is how we can represent more products based on a model-based system engineering RFLP template, where RFLP stands for requirements, functional, logical, and physical representation of a product, and that was basically developed as part of a research project we are currently working on together with some industry partners as well as some other software vendors here in Germany. And that project is called Impact. And you basically will see the showcase on this one. And then, of course, you will see as well on how we analyze impacts on requirements and product changes. And of course, the other things are important as well, because baselining, collaboration, reports, and communicate changes is important as well, but probably will not be in the focus of today's presentation. I don't know, Anna, will you have baselines included in your demonstration?
Yes, indeed, I do.
Okay, good. So then we will see that as well. With that, I would say, so that was pretty much the introduction to give you an idea on in which direction we are heading today. And with that, I would say we will go into the interactive demonstrations. And as I said, Anna will start on that.